Welcome to Mobile Armor Radio, the podcast for all things Mecha. Jumpship incoming.
All right. Welcome to Mobile Armor Radio, episode number 81. I am your host. I don't know what Rob was doing, but
I'm pointing at this weird guy sitting here.
Oh, I'm your host this month with Rob, as always, and our brand new, what should we call him? First string substitute? Jack.
Tragically, Brian is no longer with us, so I've stepped up. Mr. Novak,
R.I.P.
R.I.P. So now you've got me.
That's just terrible.
No, Brian is out due to having a brand new child for this month.
Bebe.
Jack from the Dragon's Tome podcast has offered to step in and co-host with us for this month. So let's all give Jack a warm welcome in the comments and the YouTubes and the likes and the subscribes.
Canonically, he loves comments.
Yes, so it's a whole different podcast, though. So maybe in this podcast he likes the comments.
It's true. Who knows? It's a whole new Jack in the mobile.
Maybe this is multiverse Jack. We don't know which one we have.
Heap your praise and adulation on me. I would wallow in it like a pig in slop.
Oh, that's very nice. Okay, so, let's just get out of the Jumpship here and move on into the Dropship then.
Short and sweet.
Dropship landing.
All right, welcome to the Dropship. This is the part of this show where we talk about what we worked on, which I think is very nicely. But this month's episode of the Dropship has been brought to you by John Bear Ross. He's back to doing his Patreon. Now being a Patreon gets you a monthly 50% discount on My Mini Factory, Cults, and the CGT Trader. Oh, wait. CG Trader.
That always gets me. I know, me too.
For just $1.99 a month. Just $1.99 a month, I tell you. All his products are available on My Mini Factory. Just search for John Bear Ross, and the link will be in the show notes. We thank John Bear Ross for being a loyal sponsor and friend of the show. This guy's been here since the day one. He even has a mug. I remembered the fact that when he posted, he got his Mobile Arm Radio mug. So... let's start with what we're working on.
No, we got to talk about what John Bear Ross is working on. He's
all right.
For one of his projects now, he's putting out tread legs for his all his mechs that he's put out. So he's got these. They look like treads, but they're like four-legged guys for all the Quixote.
Are those for all his mechs or just
Quixote, Cervantes, Dominator, all the what are they? I never know what they are. JBR, one day you have to tell me what these are. Are they Night Titans? I don't know what they are.
Imperial Knights?
I don't know what they are. But anyways.
They're not Imperial Knights.
Well, yeah.
But in a different world, they might be Imperial Knights.
But he's doing all different treads now because it's all modular. You can do whatever you want for them. So, and
I wasn't sure what he was doing with the treads because I saw all the treads and I was thinking,
so he has
these treads.
He has the 3D sculpts, but he also has a printed one up to see what they look like printed, and it looks really cool. So if you want four-leggeds on your giant mecha, you can go through him. And like we said, go on his Patreon, and you can get 50% off. So it's already pretty cheap anyway. So even if you don't want to go through Patreon, but please do support him.
Definitely.
So anyways, yeah, that was JBR. But what you were saying?
I was going to go to you and say, what have you been working on?
I've been working on a lot because Pat got back and he got the bugaboo to start hobbying again. So it's been like years since I painted. So I finally painted stuff. The first thing I did, because I was just trying to get warmed up, I painted up a lamb from Battletech as Jetfire. Because I don't even know where I got this. Somebody probably on My Mini Factory was given the STLs for a Jetfire lamb for, I guess it's a Phoenix Hawk, I guess. And I downloaded it because I love Transformers and I love Jetfire and I love Battletech. So, and yeah, I painted him up finally in the Jetfire colors. So that was the first thing I did. And I think it turned out pretty good. And that was just getting back warmed up into actually painting again. And then Pat kept bothering me and kept making me do things. So I had a pile of primed mechs. Like I just literally have a pile of them beside me. So I just grabbed. I had a bunch of
boxes
yes.
of them.
A pile is
not exaggerating. Well, it's not
exaggerating.
A pile is small compared to the amount of boxes. It would if you
Yeah.
said pile of boxes,
Yeah.
would be more accurate.
Yeah, but these are actual primed ones. Those are not even all of them primed. But I had a bunch of clan mechs. I don't know if these are 3D printed or I think they must be 3D printed. I don't even know where I got them. And yeah, so I printed them up, or I painted them up as the Jade Falcons. But these Jade Falcons are blue and with like kind of blue camo.
Which is weird to me.
Yeah, they're different Jade Falcons. They are the Alpha Galaxy in Jade Falcons. So I did a bunch of them, and I did it because I was like, wow, this is something that doesn't look like a Jade Falcon, so it's not green. So I thought it was different. And I don't paint many Jade Falcons because I hate them. But these mechs happen to be like, I looked up who had most of these mechs, and it was like 3 out of the 5 were
Jade Falcon got eliminated, right?
Spoilers.
Oh,
but
come on. If you don't know by now.
No, but that's new. That's in the new stuff. Smoke
Is that
Jaguars.
new?
Yeah, Smoke Jaguars got eliminated back in the day, but Jade Falcons.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of then.
You're forgetting there's a complete novice here. I don't know.
Stop spoiling things for Jack.
So if this is your attempt to lure me into your robot fantasies, you want me to dive in, you got to remember, anything you say, canon will be held against you.
I was just going to say. And the last thing I painted was I had once again random mechs, and I picked up random 4 mechs and then random Merc Company, and it ended up being Bad Dream. Never even heard of these guys, but they're yellow and red, so it's like a color scheme I would never normally done, and I think they turned out pretty cool. I've been using contrast paints and speed paints and Monument Hobbies paints to do all this, so that's the
nice.
quality of these. And I think that these guys especially turned out really cool. I think the red and the yellow really pop on them. It turned out really cool. I like them. And next month I have a lot more on my desk that we've been painting, so that was just me for now. Jack, do you have anything?
If Brian's untimely demise, why did he decide he was going to start horseback riding? I don't know.
I know.
If it had happened a little bit earlier,
you would have thought he would have learned from Christopher Reeve, right?
Tsunami.
To tsunami. I would have prepared something, but unfortunately, no. I am without robot hobby. Now, with that being said,
that's not true, actually.
I'm not averse. I've got a 3D printer. I'm not averse to getting into robot painting.
You've robot painted. You just forgot you robot painted because they're goblins. You made Killicans.
I did. This was weeks ago. If anyone wanted to see them, too bad. I'm not going. Going to
this is what you get with Jack, by the way. Welcome to Jack's amount of interplay. I'm not gonna bother.
9? 6? 9?
Yeah, they're bullying me already. Yeah, I'm being bullied. Yes. Okay.
He's talking to management. We better be nice.
What was that?
How many cans did you paint?
You can't say it like that.
He's demure.
6. 6.
6.
Did you do any of the other ones?
Yeah, that's.
Did you just do Killicans, or did you do the other ones too?
How many stormtroopers do we have in this house?
I just did the 6 Killicans, but I 3D printed them. I don't know what their size is supposed to be, but that's good enough for just trying out a hobby. I've never played before. This is 40K I'm talking about. I've never played before. A buddy once.
Oh, could you tell us what those knights are? Are they? Since you're our 40K expert now.
Oh no, I'm not an expert. I have not played a game yet, but anyways, yes, I have painted robots in the last few weeks.
See,
as for right now,
disqualified.
No, What I was going to say was, I'm not adverse to painting robots. I don't paint robots, but I'm not averse to it. So maybe I will put out the question to all of you. If you know someone who makes STLs that are fine quality robots that you'd want me to paint to get me to fall in love with this Mecha, whatever these two guys do, maybe get in touch.
Comment below.
All right. There, comment below. All right. Well, for me, like Rob said, I got the hobby underneath my butt again.
I didn't know where that was going.
and I painted a crap ton of stuff over the last couple of weeks. Some mech related and some not mech related. But we'll talk about the mech related things. So one of the things I painted first was what did we call it? A Dune Cat from Redline Games, the card game. When you kickstarted their card game, you got a bunch of different mechs, and this is one of them. I don't know which expansion this came from. Was this the Siege one? Did we determine it was Siege?
I can't remember. No, I think it was Neom, maybe.
It was Neom, but I thought it was.
I don't think Siege is out yet. Siege isn't. Is Siege the newest one? I always mix up which one's which.
Yeah, I think Siege is out. Siege was the second one.
No, it wasn't.
No, sorry, Cameron, we forgot.
Well, the new one's coming out soon, so that's all I'm excited.
Yes. Yeah, I'm very excited for that too. So I painted up the Dune Cat. I went. I don't even know why I just chose red. Maybe because it was on my palette, and I went with red. Did a little yellow racing stripe. But one of the things I was playing around with was the Monument fluorescent paints. So I tried to do a little glow effect on whatever guns are in his hand. And I'm calling them PPCs, but Rob is not agreeing with me on those.
PPCs are blue,
effects.
not green.
Well, there's no fluorescent blue in that line. And for some reason, no one could tell me why there's no fluorescent blue paint out.
Yeah, that's weird. For that line has so many different paints. I'm amazed there's no fluorescent blue. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. Well, I gave it a shot. A little help from my wife, too. It looks okay. I feel like I could do a little bit better with the thing. I did mess around a lot with on that mech with weathering pencils that my wife bought me from AK for my Christmas present, I think it was. And those things are a dream to work with, especially when you're trying to do edge lining and you want to show edge line chip paint and everything. It works great.
Yeah, if you see any of these chips on the back and the side, and a little bit on the front, it's that's all done with those pencils, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and then
AK Interactive.
Yeah, and the next thing I
was gonna say you did all the mud effects too on these things, right?
Oh yeah, I did some mud effects. I think AK does those pigments too. So that was that mech, and then I went and because I know many episodes ago we talked about that grav tank that John Barrowas printed or made many years ago that I primed, and I had forgotten I primed, and I found it in the corner of my priming area. I went, oh, I still got this tank I need to paint. And so I finally brought it back out of my little priming area, and I brought it in. I painted it up. I did a little camo on it, and I was messing around again with the first paint. So on the little side plasma gun, I did little effects on the coils. Again, I went with green. That turned out a little bit better. And then again, I used the weathering pencils and mud pigments on the side. So I really like the liner pencil on the tank. It really kind of gets the edge of the paints all chipped up and everything. So
you also did the grav things as nacelles from Star Trek.
Oh yeah, they looked a little bit nacelly to me. So I said, "What the hell? I'll do original Star Trek homage, but I'll do it in blue instead of yellow and orange."
Yeah, the camo really in these pictures, especially the camo really shows. It's really cool.
Yeah, I wanted to do something not so sci-fi-ish, but kind of more military-ish, I guess. So I went with I went with the NATO. It's an actual NATO camo pattern. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A real camo pattern.
Yep. And then on a side note, I also ordered a while ago original series Battlestar Galactica figures, Colonials and Centurions, and I painted up my test model Centurion as a robot adjacent.
He just wants to show him off because he loves his Battlestar.
I wasn't going to talk about it, but you said you were going to put it in, so...
You sent me the picture, so I anytime you send me a picture...
I sent you the picture just to look. But yeah, so in continuing with, I am looking to finish printing up the Yaghound and start that journey. And any more random mechs, like Rob, I'm just going to start pulling them out of a drawer, and whatever comes in my hand is what's going to get painted next.
Yeah. I'm almost cleaned my little area that's prime stuff out. So
I mean, what I might do, especially with these red line minis for the card game, I might go look through the card to see if I can find.
Oh yeah, to actually do the color
and
scheme.
do a color scheme off one of the cards just for shits and giggles. But still waiting for the Kickstarter. Can't wait. I know everything's on a boat now, right? It was the last update I think I read.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's coming.
So it should be any minute now. It should be here unless the Somalis get it.
Or tariffs.
Or tariffs. That too. Somalis or Trump, one of the two.
Jack, this is a lot more political than the other show, Jack. I don't know if you knew that.
Is it? Okay, I'm all in.
But that's it for what I'm working on. So I guess that concludes the Dropship, unless anyone else got anything to say they're working on.
I don't think so.
Jack's going to work up some next show.
Hey, if I get the opportunity,
unless we find a way to resurrect Brian.
Yeah, we have to summon Brian back from the dead.
That avalanche did him so wrong that I don't know if it's even possible.
Yeah,
it would be a horror show.
I don't even know how he got those. I don't even know how he got that horse on the skis.
It would be a Cronenberg kind of creation, something maybe from Reanimator that was just here talking about the Brotherhood of Steel or any other one of the other robot power mech thing like Iron Man, whatever you talk about on this show.
Hey,
but my question is, a dropship gets the robots down to the planet.
That's
how do they get back up?
The dropship goes back up.
Then it's not.
It becomes a lift ship.
It becomes a jump ship.
No,
Jumpship's the one that takes them from system to system.
I've got a lot to learn.
So basically, the jump ship is the airplane.
Got all the time in the world now.
The dropship is the bus.
You're in charge of this.
Is Miss Frizzle driving the bus?
I'm just letting him go. Miss Frizzle?
Notice Jack is drinking. That's all I'm saying. That's all.
Miss Stella is the bus driver in this one.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, let's wrap up the Dropship then and head into the ComStar and talk about some TBs and stuff.
TB.
Tuberculosis, yes.
Message from ComStar.
All right, welcome to the ComStar, a little section again where we talk about movies, books, and things that we've been reading or read. And we'll, as always, start with Rob. Games, video games.
RPGs.
Tabletop
games. If Jack had played 40K, he could have talked about it, but he hasn't, so he can't.
No, not yet.
Not yet. It'll be close.
I've played plenty of games, but I can't.
We do have to keep our friend Dave from listening to this podcast because we tipped your hand to what you're playing, so...
I don't think there's any risk of that.
No, I don't think so either. He probably doesn't know exist. It's all good.
Rob, why don't you start us off with some news?
Big news from Ignition Core Games is that they picked up the Relic Knights football and are running with it. And there's a few factions in Relic Knights that actually have mechs. But
yeah.
So it's kind of cool that the guys from Ignition Core are picking up, and they're actually trying to get the old Kickstarter backers some of the stuff that they never got because...
oh, really? I didn't know that. That's really nice of them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they got something going on, either discounts or at least something going on to help those guys.
If you don't know what Recognize is, it was a kind of robot-y kind of game, right? It was Kickstarted by Soda Pop Miniatures.
Soda Pop Miniatures did it with Simon, and then Simon's like, "These guys are terrible. Let's get the fuck out of here," and they ran away. Yeah. And
they pulled shocks and took off.
Yeah, and they were like, "Okay, let these guys rot." And yeah, there was a big Kickstarter that was mismanaged, and it's a game that's anime kind of anything anime is kind of on the table. So like every anime is represented kind of. So like
Nice.
they showed off the Void Cadre and the Radiant Cadre. Void Cadre are very like they're like at mechs. They got flying guys, but they're kind of like high concept mechs. And then the Radiant Cadre look more like Wolf Brigade, like Wolf. Like almost World War II kind of heavy armor kind of mech guys, and there's a girl with a cowboy hat, so it's a little more. So it's all different things.
So Shania Twain is part of that
Definitely.
faction.
Jack, we definitely got some of these from one of our Adepticon swag bags. I don't know, you probably don't remember it, but we definitely got some Relic Knights from one of those.
It was probably one of the first Adepticons you went,
Yeah.
if not the first Adepticon
Yeah,
you
one
went.
of the early ones, because we definitely got a character and then like a little teeny like mascot that went with that character. Do you remember that at all? I don't think I have mine anywhere near
Jack
me.
probably got rid of it.
Oh, I'm sure it's probably in some bin somewhere. I don't think he actually did anything with it, but
Anything like that, I would have went, hey, you want this?
oh, you might have painted it up as like, hey, I'm gonna paint something, and I might as well paint this up. You might have, but this was also like
might
probably
have.
10 years ago, so I'm not surprised you don't remember this.
I might have. A random miniature from a random company I've never heard of. I may have painted it up.
They were. I do remember them because they were across from us in one Adepticon in our booth.
Yeah, you've definitely seen these guys at Adepticon, Jack, but they probably you're not really into the anime aesthetic that much, so you probably didn't even go down your radar too much.
Yeah, you probably just glossed right over it with your eyes.
Yeah,
Quite possibly.
still cool looking, and I'm glad it's that our friends at Ignition Core are doing it. So
Yeah, they did good work in these Shakur guys.
and I think they're going to be resin, so that'll be nice quality at least. So we'll see. They will be at Adepticon. We should talk about Adepticon too, but Adepticon is coming up the next month. Well, this month I guess technically. This is March, right? I can't remember what month we're in.
Yeah, this is gonna be March. So yeah, Adepticon
End
will
of
be
this
coming
month.
at the end of this month.
Yeah,
It's now moved to Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, as I like to call it.
Milwaukee, as Alice Cooper would tell us.
It's the land of lakes or something. I don't know.
Land of lakes.
Yeah.
Land
So
of
Ignition Core is going to be there
Wisconsin.
amongst other people, and Jack's face.
Yeah, the booth.
One
Aaron in
ding.
the booth
One ding.
is
Come
saying
on.
that yes, this is.
I can tell you right now, there's going to be more dings. Get used to it.
Ooh, on our podcast, he's demure and mindful. Here, he's
this
taking
is
charge.
I just got home from
Ne'er-do-well-
work. I just got home from work.
Ne'er-do-well Rob.
This is his villain. His villain.
Look at it. I'm wearing
hero.
black. Yeah.
Oh.
Anyways, yeah, these guys are going to be at Adepticon, and if anybody's at Adepticon, please hit us up. We're not working. We're going to have lots of time to go play
Yeah, I'll be
games.
around.
And we want to hit up some. We want to play some Alpha Strike probably, and whatever else we got going on. Maybe we'll bring
Yeah.
our.
There is a grinder. There is a grinder game at Adepticon.
Yep.
Might try and get in on.
Yeah, we'll bring our card game. We'll bring our everything. We'll bring a bunch of stuff. So, yeah. So hit us up if you're going to be at Adepticon. It's a whole new world because it's going to be in Milwaukee. So everybody's kind of, what the hell's happening? So we'll see what's going on.
Exactly.
We don't know what it's supposedly a lot bigger. So we'll see if there's room for. Used to be when Jack and I first went to Adepticon. Pat's been there a lot longer than we have, but there would be like just tables and we just start playing games. By the end of
Well,
it,
that used what you're talking about used to be the only. They moved that into the room that was across from that Bits guy.
yeah, but that was actual events in there too.
Yeah, but the open gaming tables were in that. They moved that to that room.
Yeah, it used to be upstairs in the hallway, and then we just play games and have fun. And now it's just packed, like literally packed. Like it was so many people last time.
Yeah, we'll see what it's like now.
Yeah, I'm curious if they're going to have a lot more room to just pick up games, because that was really a lot of the fun we had at Adepticon was just sitting down and playing random games with people. So
Yeah. So
and it was just like, yeah, you were at the last one, right, Jack? Or did you go last time? I don't remember when the last time you went. Did you go last year? Or the year
No,
before?
I didn't go to last year.
You went the year before, yeah. It was even worse
Was that-
last year.
you didn't go last year?
No, I worked
what-
last year. Remember, I worked in the booth last year, and I didn't the year before.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But anyways, yeah, Adepticon is fun, but we'll see what it's like this year. So I have to report back to Jack, see if it's worth his time again. He's a busy
might
man.
be. He is a busy man.
Since we're getting political, no, I have no intentions of going down to the United States and spending my money for a little while. So maybe in 4 years, hit me up.
Wow, this is a political podcast. Speaking of what? Sorry.
Did you lead me down the garden path? Was that a trap? Did you ambush me with my?
It was an ambush. Yeah. Speaking of Canadians, though, our I wouldn't say friend of the show. He doesn't know we exist, but Brendan Tenold, he's from out west. He just did Robot Jocks on his YouTube channel. So he did a review of Robot Jocks.
If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's funny as hell.
Yep, it's the movie that destroyed. I forget which. It's Canon Films. One of the ones that it put them out of business. So, yeah, it was a great movie back in the day. I remember us renting it when we were in high school, I think. So, it was fun times, Robot Jocks. And if you haven't watched Brendan Tenold stuff, he's really funny. So it's worth it. Another YouTube thing, this is all YouTube for the ComStar this week, is Secret Galaxy. We've talked about them before. They did a history on the Mighty Orbots. Jack, do you remember the Mighty Orbots?
No.
You probably remember to see them because they were like just one of those cartoons that were on when we were kids. But yeah, there was a quick history on them and how they got sued by GoBots because Orbots was a little too close to GoBots.
Yeah,
it was pretty fun. Those histories that Secret Galaxy do are also really in depth, and they do a lot of research, so it's really fun. You learn a lot. That's it for ComStar for me. I don't think I've watched anything. Have I? Nothing with mechs in it, I don't think. I don't think so. No.
Jack, did you have any chance to read or watch anything Mecha by any chance? I know it's a long stretch to ask. Why not?
No. The last thing that I watched, young dear sweet angel Brian Novak recommended to me was about 2 years ago, and it was about some people and kids' bodies that were raised, and then they had adult minds, and then they got in mechs and they fought. If it wasn't gods, it was alien-like gods.
Is it?
And I went,
is it Evangelion? Sort of sounds.
No,
like that.
No, that the name doesn't.
Anyway, was there people having sex to pilot the robots?
No.
Oh, that's usually Brian's suggestion.
they were children and with adult minds, and it did. Needless to say, my first foray, it was the one and done for me.
You're like, what the hell did I just fall into?
No, and I'm not adverse to Japanimation in its at a total thing. Like, trust me, I've watched myself a Voltron or a Macross. Yes,
Robotech.
But then when sweet Brian recommended to me that, and I went, not for me.
Yeah, that's a lesson you learn from Brian. Is he's like those. This is gonna be a fun analogy. Wait for this one. It's like when people have too much sex and they have to have like crazy sex because they've had too much sex. That's Brian with anime. He's watched so much anime that he gets into the crazy stuff. Not necessarily the sexy stuff. I'm just saying it's crazy stuff.
Oh, okay. Not necessarily the sex, but when someone says, "Oh, I watch pornography a lot," and I have gotten
like when they've done something so much that it no longer brings them joy. They have to go
deeper and deeper, and it gets real rough and scary. That's Brian with anime.
Just to feel anything.
Not to speak poorly about the dead, but yes, just to feel anything. He has to watch some crazy shit.
R.I.P. We won't bring this story up at the remembrance service. Yes, the celebration of life will not involve the level of entertainment that I was uncomfortable with viewing and afterwards felt unclean. Yet he was at the level that he thought
that was beginner stuff.
Recommend it as my jumping off point, where I'm going to start my anime journey. So yeah.
All I know is that Brian is going to be like, okay, I have to go back on the show now. We're forcing him back into the seat.
He's going to feel the need to defend himself. First of all, let me just let you know.
This is my new gig. I've got nothing.
Don't worry.
There'll be four.
You don't. Well, we will talk about later. You're not nothing. You got another show.
Yeah.
With two handsome co-pilots.
Yes, definitely.
Who are we?
For me now, I guess. I have, again, notorious. When I'm painting, I'm not doing anything else.
Yeah.
But I will say, I did watch the first 2 episodes of that Gundam Requiem,
Yeah.
Requiem for Vengeance,
Yep.
and I enjoyed it. I didn't like the fact that the Red Wolves got their ass kicked by some
It is a
Gundam,
Gundam.
scum with the Zeons.
Gundam scum. It is like a
Gundam
monster in that
scum.
show.
Yeah.
Oh, there is actual other news. There's going to be a new Pat Labor TV show coming out. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, nice.
Yep, they're working on it now. 2026, I believe, is what they're shooting for. So I love me
All right,
some
well,
Pat
look at
Labor. So Jack, that is a show you'd like. The actual OAV.
Actually, Pat Labor is where Brian should have
yeah,
recommended you.
because it's the first OAV is hilarious, and it's like cop mechs. They're cops, but they're trying to stop these. Sometimes there's industrial mechs that people steal and cause trouble, so they have to send in the cops, and the cops are more trouble than the guys.
And it's almost like vaudeville cops too.
Yeah.
They're not, you know,
they're silly.
They're
Yeah.
tripping over each other.
It's a really fun show. So if you're gonna watch the show, watch Pat Labor. The movies are super serious, and it's like a tonal shift that you're like, what the hell? But the OAV, the original show, is pretty fun. So
Yeah,
I don't think it's available anymore. You can't find it, but it's okay.
we'll get you.
Once
We'll
big
get you.
shy, I will avoid it because I am
Yeah,
scared.
but it's it's me and
But
Pat.
it's recommended by us, and it's got my name in it.
Yeah,
It does sound like a European is telling Pat to get to work.
Pat Labor.
So
Yes.
that's funny.
Yeah.
It's true.
Get
to work, Pat.
What else do I have in ComStar other than Requiem? I'm digging it. I just need to buckle down and watch the stuff.
Have you read any more of the Battletech novels? You started reading them.
No, that got put on way since we started painting because I'm working a lot overtime. My time between paint and off work is very finite,
It's
and
sleeping.
then I go right to bed.
Yeah.
And so I don't. So either paint or I'm reading before I go to bed. So while I'm painting, I'm not reading. That's Brian from the dead.
Yeah. Brian's contacting us. Yes, Brian, we can hear you.
So this is not, again, I'm going to make mention of this is mech adjacent because of the ship that's a part of it. But I did find out that there was a Battle of the Planets or Gatchaman,
Oh, God, yeah, that's right.
live action Gatchaman that was filmed in 2014. I didn't even know about this.
Once again, Jack, you would recognize Battle of the Planets. You probably wouldn't recognize the name because it's got like 14 different names. But G-Force.
Yeah, Battle
it's
of the
called
Planets
G-Force.
was the G-Force with the 5 people that were dressed like birds.
And one was like one was a little kid. You'd remember that as a cartoon.
Silverhawks.
No, it's way
It
before
was before,
Silverhawks.
yeah. Silverhawks stole from them. Not really. I wouldn't say way before. It's pretty close. Silverhawks.
It was in the 60s, 70s. It was around the same time
No.
that Speed Racer came over.
It wasn't that early.
Oh, Battle of the Network Stars.
No, that was Mark Harmon when he was young.
No, that was Marky Post and well,
Jack goes for the swimsuit edition.
Exactly.
yeah, if my penchant for Linda Carter doesn't need to be on every
Jack,
podcast,
This
so
is,
I will.
This isn't the podcast talking to people that watch read Dragon magazine back in the 70s. Where these are actually maybe actual kids watching this one.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is a different demographic. I think
No one's gonna know what Battle of the Network Stars
Yeah,
is.
that's
I've got maybe 4 people here. Myself and Rob and maybe John Bear Ross.
so then why do you have a elderly curmudgeon on here who just
Well, I didn't
for
want to say
whatever
it.
reason?
I didn't want to say
It's
it, but we didn't have
it's
anybody
DEI.
else. Yeah, we didn't-
DEI and affirmative action all rolled into one.
I as a DEI hire, I will say that you probably could have done better.
So, Battle of the Planets, Gatchaman.
Live
It's
action.
really based on the Gatchaman, not so much the Battle of the Planets.
Is it
the
Japanese?
live action. Yeah, it's you can either get it subbed or dubbed.
Where's it on?
Right now, I've been looking at it. I think Daily Motion has it.
Oh, like
Right now.
illegal versions. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's
So,
not
but-
available on officials.
When you come out, though, we're going to make a trip out to
Oh, I just remember.
Mitsuwa,
Yeah, Mitsui.
and then we're going to see if I can find a Blu-ray or DVD copy of it.
Was that? I don't
so I
know if
can-
that place
so
was
I can
still
rip
open.
it.
Wasn't the DVD place closed? I think it wasn't there last time we went.
I think it was.
Oh, we just didn't go that section.
We didn't go that far because we got distracted by those $8 vending machines
Oh yeah, the what are they
for
called?
the Japanese toys.
I did watch something. I just remembered I watched something else. I started watching Macross Plus last night. So I started watching classic Macross. It's all right. It's fun. I for some reason, like Macross Plus is super famous. I've never watched it. I don't know why. It's weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Huh. I was watching. I was like, I must have seen this. And I started watching. I'm like, this does not ring any bells.
But that's it for me for ComStar. Not too much because, again, we did a ton of hobbying. And when I do a ton of hobbying, I don't do a ton of reading or other watching TV. So,
yep.
All right. Well, then let's wrap up the ComStar and let's move into that MechBay Hanger and for our little roundtable.
We can let Jack talk for once.
Now entering the MechBay Hanger.
All right, welcome to the MechBay Hanger. This month, I was thinking about this topic way before Brian decided to slalom ski on horses.
I hope that library is sued into the ground.
Yes.
The stack of books that, Brian is was a very diminutive, almost elfin-like creature. So that stack of books.
Elfin is a good description of Brian.
Yes.
That stack of books took him out.
The horse, the snow, and the books was just too much for his frail body.
It was irony that the written word was his
downfall. Yes.
Yeah. Now, mind you, the small progeria kid that was beside him survived. So, it's one of those things, you just roll the dice,
Yep, you just never know.
You never know.
But before that accident happened, I was just thinking about mechs in general with upcoming Adepticon and the popularity of the grinder events at Gen Con and Adepticon. What is it about mechs that attracts a lot of people, and or said not attract people? What about both sides of that coin? Because I was thinking about how I started playing with mech games was the Battletech from FASA, the original Battletech cover, and all I saw was this giant robot with two guns for hands on the cover, and I was like, ooh, I think I want to play that. So I don't know why that just grabbed a hold of me, and then I just couldn't let go from there. Is it what's the word? The fantasy of just moving around in a mobile walking tank?
Well, that wasn't the first mix you ever saw, though. You'd seen other stuff before then, but
yeah, I mean, but it was in the Gundam. The anime stuff was good. It was good entertainment, but I will say I wasn't really grabbed.
No, it was
immersed until BattleTech, and I was actually playing. Like, I could watch Gundam, and I'd be like, yeah, that's awesome. That looks great. That's fun.
But it wasn't no different from any other cartoon you've been watching at the time. You've been like, yeah,
another anime. But it was when I saw BattleTech, and you can actually play the game. So, is it because there was a game that made me gravitate towards mechs and such that I like so much, being able to pilot and outmaneuver or whatever it is, out-strategize someone in another big giant robot?
I
mean, what was it for you, Rod, that kind of grabbed you from mechs then?
Definitely Robotech. I've told the story many times about how first time I saw Robotech, it blew my little brain. I was probably, I don't know, maybe 10 when I first saw Robotech, and it would have been around there somewhere. And it was just like, what the hell is this? This is so much better than Western cartoons that I was just confused and delighted. And when the missiles flew and they all went in different directions, I was like, what the?
With giant smoke plume trails going every which way.
Yeah, that was definitely like, wow, this awakened something in me. It's like Aaron Gray for Jack. It awakened something in me.
I didn't mention her, but yes, perhaps I've mentioned her too many times with Linda Carter.
Well, Aaron Gray she was a hot one. I'll tell you, I'm not going to lie. I'm on Jack's corner with that. But so you gravitated towards that because the
cartoon, the aesthetic. I think like Battletech when it came out, I was like, oh, this is now I can play what I already loved. Like I already liked mechs at that point. So
okay,
yeah, that was definitely the anime for me was the. Robotech was the gateway for me, for sure, by far.
Do you feel like as far as liking and wanting mechs, what do you feel are the keys? I feel like the keys are Robotech, Gundam, and Battletech.
Yeah, Transformers, I guess that was the major one. But
maybe Transformers.
yeah, Transformers was. I never really associated that with mechs though.
Yeah, I never really either. Even though we say adjacently,
Yeah.
it is. But what about you, Jack? What is it about mechs that you didn't attract you? Because you're not nearly as into the big giant robots as you say as we are.
I would just ask for some clarification before I speak. Is a Voltron both car and or lions?
For sure.
Yes.
Okay. I
100%.
think that would be peak Jack interest in if, as a small young child, I'd come in from playing hoop and stick, watch some Voltron, and that interested me. I've seen the like the Macross stuff. Didn't do it for me. And
yeah, I wonder what the difference was. Why would Macross and Robotech not interest you, but Voltron was so much better? Because it's still an anime. It's still from Japan.
My guess is,
you think it was story-wise? Do you think the story of Voltron was a little more appealing to you than the
accessibility?
Yeah, it was also a lot more for sure. Yeah,
the barrier to entry was. I could say probably I'd watched 4 or 5 tops of anything.
Yeah,
like
Robotech.
Macross.
I think for where we lived, it was on like Sunday at like 3 a.m. Like it was some weird times. We never really got much of it. Whereas Voltron was after school every day. Like you were just there. Like
yes. So if it's not through any choice of mine that's what I was given.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, like, what else is there? I remember Rob and I discovered a show called Exo Squad.
Oh, we've talked about Exo Squad many
that
times.
Story doesn't need to be told. That's debauchery and just nonsense. But for the most part, it's just been a thing of like, hey, I played the Battletech game for a couple hours at a friend's house. No.
Didn't rope you in, huh?
Didn't rope me in until Legion of Steel in Fallout. Maybe that would be my touchstone. And
you liked Pacific Rim a lot.
Pacific Rim, yes, which I think is a good point because I loved Pacific Rim, and it was everything I wanted in the movie, story wise and writing wise, and Rob said, and then I watched the second one and I hated it. And Rob said, well, because the first one was a kind of like a Godzilla kaiju, and that you're down with. The second one was a homage to
kid anime, like Kid Pilot
Kid anime.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh,
you didn't have that background, yeah.
That explains it. I'm not getting this. The first one, I was all in. Went to the theater. I was all in on that. Like the
Wow. The first one was also Guillermo del Toro, and the other one wasn't. So that also explains a lot. Like he adds a lot to a movie.
That is true. I have yet to see anything he's done that I've not thoroughly loved.
Yeah. What was the other thing I was going to mention? There was something else. I can't remember now. My brain don't work no well.
So,
oh, Godzilla. You mentioned Godzilla. You're always a Godzilla fan, like Mecha Godzilla and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because once again, as kids, right? Like we watch a lot of Godzilla on Sundays.
Morning.
Yeah.
It was.
That's the nostalgia, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, when the Kung Fu, it used to be Kung Fu in the afternoon, Godzilla in the morning.
Kung Fu Theater.
Yeah.
Loved it.
You can't beat that. Like,
and there was always like a horror movie, like Omega Man or something, was like a 70s like sci-fi was always on, like Logan's Run or Omega Man was always on the kind of TV like that too.
Yeah. So I guess then, because when I started, there was, like you said, a lot of the cartoons, the older Johnny Sacco's, the Goldar, the Gundams.
Way
that
before
I would
us,
watch.
Jack.
Yeah, I'm a bit older, and then I would watch those things at school, and I had those memories, but it was only until I could actually maybe play and pretend that I was doing that.
Yeah, it's a different. It must be a different psychology, right? Like you were more into the actual like interacting with it, where we were more for like, hey, we just consume it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because when I got into Battletech, I had already been playing D&D, So I was really immersed into it, kind of role playing in that sense. And I think having BattleTech allowed me to extend that RPG
For us,
demeanor with my friends as my opponents.
I should mention Jack and I went to high school together. That's why we have this history. We have a shared history. But when we played in RPGs in high school, it was powered armor, right, Jack? Like there was a lot of powered armor stuff. We were all about more of that kind of thing, more than mechs. It was more like, hey, we had powered armor, or we have like an Exo Squad kind of idea that we made a role playing game out of, and like before Exo Squad, they owe us some royalties.
100%. I'm down with the Iron Man. I'm down with the
like even comic book wise, you were a big Iron Man fan.
I could discuss who was the better in the box armor, Box, Jeffries, or Langowski for Alpha Flight, and what I just said there is what it's been for me listening to the two of you for the last.
Yeah. We should mention. Yeah, you're big into comic books, and you definitely were an Iron Man and Alpha Flight fan and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it was more powered armor for us, I think, in high school. We never really played any mech games, like Battletech once in a while, but it wasn't really big on our thing.
With your group, because my group, we played a lot of BattleTech.
We didn't play much miniature games in high school. We were all role playing games. We didn't play actual miniature games till after.
We did both.
Yeah,
I mean, we did because when my group started, we were role playing only because at that time there wasn't a lot of. It was Milton Bradley board games at that point, with the Battlestar Galactica adapted board game and the Star Wars board game by Milton Bradley post movies. But yeah, so then we did a lot of role playing of that, and then BattleTech came out, and I was really well into. And
you got into 40K pretty early too, so
so
we never did any.
I think all that kind of. I mean, there wasn't a lot of robots in 40K other than the Dreadnoughts at that time. There wasn't the giant Titans unless you played the small Titan one or the Epic version. So I just I wonder what do you think about now that these younger kids that are
it's definitely
that are more accessible with anime and stuff. You think it's more? I think it's more on your guys' end then. It's the cartoons that really drag them in.
But even then,
big giant robots.
I don't think in Japan giant robots. It may be coming back slightly. There's always been Gundam and stuff, but it's not like JoJo's Big Adventure or whatever it's called, or Dragon Ball, all those things. That's the anime kids watch or read the mangas. That's the kind of stuff. I don't think mech anime is very popular. Like not as popular as that stuff now. Like we love it. No, I don't think so. It's almost like I have a nephew.
I couldn't speak because I don't know very many. What happens?
You don't know many youths. Youths.
I don't know. Well, youths.
I have a nephew who's into anime, and he's not into mech anime at all. He's more into that JoJo kind of stuff, or I don't even know what the other ones are. Punch guy? What's the guy who punches things? I don't know.
That's the name of the anime Punch guy.
One Punch. Yeah, thanks, Jack.
One Punch. Oh, look at that, Jack. Good.
Jack's animation. I'm down.
He's got his thumbprint on.
You give me a what's the Dining in Dungeon or something like that. I'm all in. But
yeah. But that's the thing. See, Jack is coming from the youth side, where I don't think mech anime is as popular as it used to be. For some, I don't know why it isn't.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I mean,
like they always make some. Like we said, there's new Pat Labor coming out. There's always new Gundams. There's always that kind of stuff. But
I'm just very curious because even I, for myself, I got to split my eye.
It's your disdain for children.
Yeah, and their disregard for mechs.
It's in my
eye. Even for myself, though, it's hard for me to when I really think about it. It's hard for me to pinpoint the exact moment when I was like, "I'm all about mechs now." You know.
I think for me, what revitalized it too was Gundam Wing. Though that, like, once I got out of university, I think that's when that came out, and it was like, oh, this is. Oh, I remember mechs from my childhood. I remember Gundam, like,
because there's a period where I stepped away too, like you said, and those are the dark ages of.
And that was also the beginning of being able to download stuff.
Click mechs is why I lost it.
Yeah, that was a whole thing, but that was also the beginning of being able to download stuff on the internet and find like, oh, I can watch every episode of this show. I can just download it. Oh, okay. Like it was the Wild West of not having to try to search out the DVDs, and there's billions of DVDs, or
Yeah.
it used to be just not accessible. Like Jack said, it was just you couldn't get everything. But once you could, like I said, I searched out things like Gundam Wing and things like that. Yeah, that really got me back into it, I think.
The internet changed it all. Like
Yeah.
just today, and I'm not a robot guy, not at all. Just today, I was watching videos while I was doing chores, and the Bandai Gundam painting awards were done. It's like the golden demon of painting Gundams.
Oh yeah.
Oh, where
And
was that at? I want to watch that.
It was a full-on, like they have their own K-pop type band of girls. It was an hour-long like extravaganza. The money they must have spent. And the only reason
Bandai makes a lot of money.
the only reason it
Obviously.
kept my interest was the number 2 person. His last name was Fan. He's Canadian, so Canadian won silver in this year's painting of Gundams. And I'm like, I'm
Do you remember what he painted?
a Gundam. So I'm not even.
I mean, was
proper-
it a diorama, or was it just a straight?
It was one of the. Again, I don't know. I'm just going to go off of what I gleaned. It was one of the only Gundams painted where it was a single Gundam. Usually, it's a diorama with multiples. His one, because it was a Gundam being downloaded, so it had all these neon things coming off the edges, and he
I
repainted.
definitely want to watch it.
Sculpted. Well, okay. Well, I'll send you the link.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll
The-
put in the show
the-
notes.
The
See, this is what you could have talked about in ComStar, Jack.
well, this, and I don't even know. This is someone I watched who she was talking about it. So,
Oh.
like, my point is, in the 80s, there was no one where I'm doing chores that's just going to tell me about an award show in another country about a thing I don't know about, and me get interested because a Canadian won second. So when you're talking about how did you get connected and why, it's a different world today.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a whole different world.
Yeah,
And
that's a good point.
it's more accessible, but it's also lost in all the other stuff that's available, right? Like you have to be exposed to it by shows such as ours. That
Yes.
because otherwise there's just so much chaff that to find the actual what you're interested in, like to stumble across it. Like I guess kids go on YouTube, they'll stumble across an FMV of something and be like, oh, that's so cool, and search out what the actual anime is. Like that may be how kids do it nowadays.
I might have to take a poll when we're at Adepticon, hanging around with some of the robot guys. What is it that got you into mechs?
Yeah.
Because I'm genuinely curious now. So
Yeah, please comment below if you what got you started. What was the first thing that said, "Hey, this is what I want to be interested in." Yeah,
I think I mean, until something else pops into my head, I have to say that it was the Battletech game that got my hooks into me. I mean, I enjoyed the anime stuff and the live action Japanese latex suits TV robot ones too.
yeah.
But I think it was definitely
Ultraman.
Battletech, the game. Loved Ultraman.
I remember I discovered Battletech because I was going to university or college, and I right down the street's a mall, and I had to wait for a ride, so I'd go to the mall, and there was a game store in there, and they had all the Battletech miniatures and stuff, and I just started buying them because I was like, this is so cool. And I never really played the game that much because I was more of a collector even then. So
Yeah.
that was yeah.
All right. Well, that was a nice little discussion. It comes from many different sides. It does sate my curiosity still, but I'm still curious some more, and I'd like to hear more stories from other people. So, like Rob said, comment, leave a message, let us know what got you hooked into mechs.
And if you want to kind of set the hook into me, if you think, this guy, he's on the edge, he's teetering. If you've got something that you're like, this will get him.
Oh, you're
Throw that down in the
going to
comments.
get some crazy stuff now.
But if you think, but
Oh,
But
no.
if you think Brian would like it, don't
Yeah.
recommend it to Jack.
Let's say keep it vanilla, people. Let's get some basic bitch stuff. Let's not go crazy.
I'm dipping a toe in. I
Not other parts.
I beg of you. I beg of you.
All right. Well, that was a good discussion. So how about we move on to the ExFil and we can wrap up the show.
Let's get out of here.
Let's exfil out of here.
All right. So that's it for March.
For March.
We're doing for March. We're in the shortest month, recording the shortest month, though. But I would like to.
March isn't the shortest month. That's February.
No, we said we're recording the shortest month.
Yeah, it's annoying. We're just
I would.
damnable
just
February.
Condolences to Brian and his family for his untimely death at the.
I would like to say congratulations to Brian.
At the brewery.
Yeast, hops, barley, and catastrophe. That was the headline in the newspaper. It was below the lead. It was, but it was still there.
Yeah,
it was still there. At least they didn't go with a crazy pun.
Exactly. I would like to also then thank Jack for stepping in at last moment's notice to fill in for Brian while they are searching for his body in that wasteland that they're calling the Yeast Farm.
I was glad to do it. Thank you for thinking of me. And anytime. Yep. Although you already have said that this is the last time I'm going to be on the show, you said so. Already.
Well, we never know. Brian has a lot to do in his.
I don't think I said it was the last time. I said, well, maybe next month
we may need you again. He's got a little one that's causing his troubles. So
yeah,
the best kind of troubles.
He's got a little one that's pulling his strings, making him dance like a puppet.
We're no longer his taskmasters.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's got a new mistress.
All right. Well, then for Mobile Armor Radio, episode 81, I've been your host, Chopper.
You're next, Jack.
You're next, Jack.
I'm Jack. Yeah, I don't know how you guys do this.
I'm always last.
You're always last.
I'm always last.
And
that's
Brian's always
that's
Brian's
my
always second.
I'm always last, and that's my lot in life, Jack. You know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the booth says they can re-edit this. If we just go, we gotta go cold.
Worry,
yeah. We need a just quiet for the tone.
And I'm Jack.
Shall we start it again?
Yep.
All right, for Mobile Armor Radio, episode 81, I've been your host, Chopper.
And I'm Jack.
Last but not least, huh?
Oh, call back.
Oh,
I'm Rob.
drop.
Comment below. Comment to your punny death of Brian below.
Yes. Please add to the tragedy that has happened to Brian. So like, share, subscribe, and thank you for listening. We will see you next month.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Papaya.
This has been Mobile Armor Radio. Join our Facebook group by searching for Mobile Armor Radio. Find us on Twitter at @MArmorRadio. Join us on the first of every month for more Mecha discussion.